Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk about how to nickels and dimes your way to wealth. Is it even possible to build wealth on nickel and dimes? Before hearing this story that I'm about to share with you, I had as much doubt as everyone does. But after researching about how a parking lot attendant built $500,000 stock portfolio on his humble earning of $12 per hour, made me a believer too. Today I would like to introduce you to Mr. Earl Crawley, a parking lot attendant. When I first heard about Mr. Earl's story, it was back in 2008, and he was 69 years old at the time. His story is captivating because he was a parking lot attendant for 44 years, and he had never made more than $20,000 a year. However, despite all that though, he was able to send his 3 children to Catholic school, pay off his house, own a stock portfolio of $500,000, and he had no other debt. His accomplishment on such a small income is amazing. In order to understand how he could build such great wealth on such a small income, we first have to study his upbringing. Mr. Earl was raised by a single mom who didn't get any child support, and with no education, she had to work low-paying jobs to support her family with a limited budget. In order to make ends meet, his mother was very resourceful, and he had learned his resourcefulness from her. And it was Earl's mother who taught him how to budget, which made him appreciate how little money can grow. Back in 1952, when he was 13 years old, his mother put him to work at a fruit stall to help pay family bills, and he only got to keep a few quarters for himself. Unfortunately, he had a disability called dyslexia. That's the reason why he didn't do well in school. That's also why his job opportunities are limited to manual labor. However, at a very young age, he realized that he had to save as much money as he could to overcome his disability. If you have enjoyed this video so far, please share, like, and subscribe to my channel. Let's keep going. At age 13, getting his quarters, he started nickels and dimes into purchasing saving stamps, which led him into purchasing saving bonds. This is how much a 25 cents in 1952 is worth in 2021. As you can see, a quarter in 1952 is worth $2.46 now. I doubt it if any kids now would bother to save $2.46. So he has an incredible vision for being a young kid. And then when he turned 25, he started to invest regularly in a mutual fund for $25 a month for the next 15 years. Then life happened. He was married when he was 26 in 1965. And within a few short years, he had 3 children to support on his $80 weekly income back in the 1960s. Money was tight, but he lived within his means by keeping costs low and working several jobs to bring in more income, which enabled him to send all his kids to Catholic school. While raising his kids, he continued to save and invest, regardless of how little the amount was. He kept at it. By the late 1970s, his net worth reached $25,000. $25,000 in 1979 is equal to about $96,000 in 2021. This is very impressive because he got this kind of saving by the age of 40 years old, which means he still have little young kids at home, and he had put his kids through private school with his low wage income. So how did this parking lot attendant manage to start investing in the stock market? It all started on a fateful day after he started his parking lot attendant job. About 44 years ago, a well-meaning banker took Earl aside and told him to start investing in the stock market since he had a limited education and wouldn't go far in his career. That associate became a friend and mentor, urging young Earl to learn about the stock market. Earl kept asking questions and kept learning, picking the brain of anyone who was willing to share their expertise. Earl listened to bankers, lawyers, brokers, and believed in letting money work for him, the power of compounding interest and stocks for the long run. He saved what he could from odd jobs, such as lawn cutting and window washing that he did in addition to his day job. He used that money to buy 1 share of IBM stock back in 1981. That's how he started investing directly in blue chip dividend-paying stocks like IBM and Coca-Cola. He bought a share or two when he can, but kept buying consistently over time. He kept reinvesting his dividends, which increased his shares and dividend income. And here is his investment timeline. He started at age 13, started with savings stamps and savings bonds and then mutual funds. His net worth was $25,000 at age 40. He bought his first IBM stock at age 42. By age 68, he was worth over $500,000. That is very impressive. And here is an overall portfolio of his holdings. So based on my research, his portfolio is diversified in blue chip companies that pay a dividend. His portfolio probably generated about $20,000 in annual dividend income for him. I bet at his income level, he probably didn't need to pay any tax. In one of his interviews, he has stated that when he first started out, he had to be conservative and took his time because he couldn't afford to lose money. He looked for companies with stability that pay dividends. While he did use his broker, many times he would go where his spirit led him. He also held mutual funds in his IRA and 401k, which are his retirement accounts. He did have a good amount of employer stock in his 401k too, which was accumulated through regular payroll deductions. Mr. Earl was a very giving person. After he has achieved his financial goal, he started giving back by donating his shares to others, teaching others about dividend reinvestment, teaching others about the power of compound interest, sharing his investment stories with his church members to spread wealth awareness, started an investment club. He was hoping that this knowledge would hopefully compound, make his community better educated and hopefully wealthier. This knowledge would pay dividends for generations to come, hopefully breaking the cycle of poverty for many of his friends. There are so many lessons that we can learn from Mr. Earl. For me, these are the golden lessons. Let me share with you. Number one, turn your disability to your asset. He had dyslexia. Because of that, he couldn't do well in school. But he didn't use it as an excuse to give up. Instead, he used it as an excuse for him to build strength in areas that can build him up. And I think this lesson we all need to learn. Number two, live below your means and always save some money, no matter how insignificant the amount is. Number three, do a side hustle in addition to your full-time job to boost your income. It was his side hustle that put his 3 kids to Catholic school and allowed him to invest in the stock market. Number four, invest in blue chip dividend-paying stocks. As you know, dividend-paying stocks are solid, stable, and have the potential to build long-term wealth for everyone. Number five, reinvest those dividends and let money work hard for you. Don't work hard for money. Let money work for you. Number six, have an open mind and keep earning. If you want to build wealth, the fast track way is to keep earning and keep growing and keep investing in yourself. If you find this video helpful, please support my channel by sharing, liking, and subscribing to my channel. Until then, we will see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for your support.